And we're back post AEW All Out season, heading into the fall. Summer is coming to an end, and we're on our way to the Continental Classic Tournament. We're heading to Grand Slam in the immediate future. We got a Jon Moxley crazy heel turn. But Ricky, how you doing?
I'm sick.
Aww.
And grumpy, so apologies in advance if I'm extra opinionated today.
It's all right. I'm about to go on vacation here in the next week, so I'm excited for that. Here talking wrestling with you tonight.
Yay.
We got AEW and CMLL, and yes, the return of WCW talk. Slamboree 2000, the Triple Cage, David Arquette. What a place that we hit pause on to talk about.
I think I watched Slamboree 2000 the day my house burned down, and if that isn't a metaphor, then man, I don't know what is.
I mean, we have to assume that you were just so disgusted with the terrible wrestling show that you yourself burned your house down. You're like, it's not worth it.
Yep.
Okay, so where should we start? CMLL or AEW?
You can drive the bus. I'm too sick to make decisions today.
All right, well, since I watched CMLL and you were curious about the show itself, we'll just do that first.
Yeah, please. So here's what I know about the show.
Okay.
Here's what I know, because I didn't watch it. I have it on my list of things to do, but I didn't get to it before we recorded today. Here's what I know. Pyro scared Orange Cassidy. The Hechicero match was insanely good. And Chris Jericho match was probably really, really bad. That's basically all I know.
So yes and no to a lot of that. I think the show overall, up until the semi-main and the main, was very kind of average, above average. 3.5 to 3 3/4 star matches. The usual six mans kind of delivered what you would think between like Angel de Oro, Soberano Jr. with Neon, Star Jr., Templario. I quite enjoyed that match. In fact, I liked it more than the Titan Dorada match, which was the Copa Finals.
Okay.
The Copa Finals had the stakes involved, but I don't know. There was something a little missing in that singles match compared to what the trios match prior gave me. So that's just my personal kind of, I favored one match over another, but they were about the same, I would say, in excitement and skill level kind of deal. The Zeuxis Willow Nightingale match was very okay.
Oh, yeah.
Big women powerhouses kind of running at each other.
Sure.
I would say it was one of the weaker matches on the card, just because it was like the least athletic of them all and least impressive, at least in the CMLL environment. The Volador match with Atlantis Jr. and Ultimo Guerrero defeating Orange Cassidy, Rocky Romero, and Satoshi Kojima. This was pretty weak too. I was more curious to what Orange Cassidy was going to bring, and he did a lot of his shtick, but I would say it was more like Team USA against Team Mexico, and I think it underdelivered to what I was expecting, but still not a bad match by any means. I don't know, 3 1/4 type star match. The mask versus mask 4-way with the tag stipulation, and then the winners then do the it was like an elimination type thing. Euphoria eliminates a Esfinge,
right,
and then that left Hechicero, Valiente, and Euphoria in the match, right? So Hechicero eliminates Valiente, which really shocked me. I thought he was kind of the favored guy to lose the match and lose his mask because of his standing in the company.
Oh,
But
okay.
I was really happy Hechicero was the one that got the ultimate victory in the match. I thought it was going to come down
Yeah.
to Esfinge and Euphoria based on their loose rivalry that's happened all year. So Euphoria eliminating Esfinge in the first 10 minutes was really shocking and created a hell of a lot of drama in the match based on that. And then once Valiente got eliminated second, it was anyone's guess who was going to lose because Hechicero and Euphoria are kind of these upper mid-carders that have these like semi-pushes, with the exception of Hechicero kind of being booked outside of CMLL more. Very exciting ending stretch. It was these two guys for a good 20 minutes just going after each other, brawling. Excellent stuff. This might be one of my low-end match of the year contenders here. I'm not saying it's a top 5, but certainly 6 through 10 contendership there.
Wow.
I massively enjoyed this. I say seek it out. Phenomenal. I'm big on Hechicero, and I just thought the way they did the 2 eliminations just added to the building drama through the match, because I kind of went into this going, it's 4 mid-carders kind of going for a mask. Not a whole lot of drama here kind of situation, and then they just upped it each time. And then you got like a 20-minute singles match with the mask on the line. It's excellent stuff.
Yeah. I mean, my timeline was full of nothing but praise for this match. Like people, excuse me, basically saying the same thing, that it was up there, matches of the year. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of 4.5, 4 3/4 area.
Awesome.
Yeah. So Hechicero fucking rules this year. I love him.
Yeah, he does.
Now, the main event, all about Jericho coming back to CMLL, his roots, kind of had the celebrity type treatment in building up the match. Mystico's one of the biggest stars of the last 25 years in the company kind of deal. So, like, the importance and the star power of the match were there. Like, there's no question. It was a 2 out of 3 falls match. The problem is it was very slow and very plotting and not very entertaining. I wouldn't say like things were botched or it was a mess, but there was Big Bill on the outside kind of get involved. It really felt like it was an American style match with a 2 out of 3 falls gimmick, which I believe a lot of people are just not into. And with how slow it was worked, like I'm talking Britt Baker type slow in a match. It was pretty egregious on that front. And so it's got a 3.36 on Cage Match, about 60 votes. I'm 4 out of 10 at best on it myself. So, a 2-star type match isn't unheard of. Mm-hmm. Is it a disaster of a match? I don't think so. I wouldn't go that far, but it certainly was far from being anything like average or good. It was certainly disappointing for an anniversary show, main event, Arena Mexico kind of deal. It just didn't work. And then the angle at the end with Jericho and company, the Learning Tree, kind of put the boots to him, and then the debacle on Dynamite the following Wednesday, it was Collision. Collision the following day, where Tony Schiavone straight up says on commentary that Jericho won the match. It's like, no, he won one fall.
Yeah, what was that about?
So weird.
Yeah.
They made it seem... So, Orange Cassidy and Jericho both lose their matches, but AEW presented it. And so did Willow Nightingale. AEW seemed to present their trip to Mexico like they were all winners, which is very strange.
Yeah, that was weird. That was very weird.
I don't know if they're like kayfabing their own story involved, but it's super strange. It's certainly a blunder. It's not something I'm very into when promotions kind of put themselves over like that from false facts.
Yeah, very. But good show.
Yeah, definitely go out. I would say if you're curious to see what Willow did with Zeuxis, I think that's worth a look-see. Obviously, the mask match is great. Seek it out.
Yeah.
And then I'm kind of putting over stronger the trios match from the bottom with Templario, Star Junior, Neon. I quite enjoyed that a lot. So those are my big takeaways. CMLL. I mean, I've been watching it all year. I've been pretty much up to date. I got their YouTube subscription, and then from high seas type places, I see a lot of the other shows that probably wouldn't be able to get, or it's like, hey, I want to save $5-10 this week kind of situation. It's kind of been my promotion of the year. It's just very consistent all year round.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's cool. How much does the YouTube subscription run?
So there's different tiers, and if you spend upwards of $20, you get the pay-per-views as well. Okay. Or you can spend $10, which gets every Friday show, and then you can pay like an extra $5 or something for a pay-per-view, which, if you're patient like me, you can just get it on the high seas sooner rather than later.
Right.
But you get the idea.
Cool. I never really understood YouTube subscriptions. So.
Yeah, generally like house shows and it functions the same as like a New Japan World, where you pay a flat rate and then whatever goes on there gets on there, and then maybe the occasional pay-per-view you have to pay for.
Got it.
It's extra. All right. Shall we talk about this AEW All Out show? And obviously...
what show?
Yeah, this All Out show that was 2 weeks after All In, which I think it gave it more breathing room this time around than last year.
Yeah. For sure.
So they got just under 9,000 people there, which I think is a pretty good attendance. You would like to see it sold out, especially with... the Swerve Hangman match headlining.
Right.
But, I mean, they were struggling to get, what was it, like 6,000 for the longest time. And then once they announced that match, they pushed another 2,700 tickets or so.
Yeah.
So that's at least good on the fact that the angle is over, the match was over, the people are over. Is that tangible enough to call it a success? I guess that's up for interpretation. I'm leaning more yes, but in terms of Chicago, AEW, they should sell this out. However, it's clearly an indictment on their struggling ticket sales in general, that they got to figure that out. The pay-per-views themselves and in buys are still doing very well, considering the pay-per-views are still hitting off on a good clip. The TV deal is a done deal, plus possibly a Fox deal for another show. So the money's rolling, right? They're getting it where the money counts. So if they can just turn around the hard paper, so to say, then there'll be success on all cylinders rather than 3 out of 4 metrics.
Right, but I think most of the money comes from the TV deals, right?
Yes.
Obviously, it's not a good look to have half-empty arenas, but since most of the money comes from TV deals and Tony Khan has more money than anybody, does it really even matter if they're not moving tickets? I mean, in my opinion, AEW is going to be around as long as Tony Khan wants it to be around. He can fund it personally or through loans from his dad, basically as long as he wants to, right?
Well, the debate I make with this is years and years ago, pre-pandemic WWE was in the shitter. Their attendances were horrid. They were tarping off half arenas. They were struggling to sell tickets. It was at the lowest rate they ever did in close to their history. But the TV money was so exorbitant that it also didn't matter. Do you want to see?
Right.
Do you want to see larger crowds, making more noise, more excitement in the arena. Does it make TV better? Yeah, all those things are yes. Does it matter to their
Sure.
bottom
Oh, yeah.
line?
I'm
It
not
truthfully doesn't.
right. Okay. That's where I was coming from. Obviously, we, excuse me, sorry. I can actually say this just from recent Dynamite experience. I had one show uh recently where the crowd was so hot and so loud and so great, and it makes the viewing experience at home that much better. And then they were in, where were they? Lexington, Kentucky. That
Mm-hmm.
crowd was so weird. It was such a like flat show. The only pop of the night was for the Outrunners. It was very weird. So yes, obviously crowd noise makes a difference for the
Well,
home experience.
before we started this, we were looking at Grand Slam because that's in just under 2 weeks, and they're only getting
Right.
4,400 people now. There isn't an update on Russell Tix coinciding with the previous Dynamite to our recording here, where the Nigel McGuinness title match is there. You got Moxley Darby announced, basically.
Hmm.
You got the Young Bucks title match, which looks to be really good, right? Who are they facing?
Yeah. No, they're facing. Oh yeah, Osprey and Fletcher.
Osprey Fletcher. Right. So, like, they've made the matches that if I was in
Hmm.
the area, I'd be going to that show immediately. So we'll see if more
Absolutely.
people have that same train of thought. But I mean, just comparing to last year, Dynamite at Grand Slam did 11,200 people. Again,
Hmm.
big tennis arena. I don't know how you're going to be able to even shoot that properly with only 4,400 people there. Uh,
Yeah.
they got to find a way to get that number up because that's not good for an Arthur Ashe show, which is a phenomenal venue.
Have you been?
No, I've never been. Just see it on TV all the time, and it's fucking great.
Oh yeah. It looks cool as fuck on TV. I was just curious if you had ever been.
Yeah.
I have not.
So AEW All Out, the kickoff 0 hour show, saw some decent little matches. I don't think it's worth going into detail on them. It's the Acclaim beat the Iron Savages. Dustin Rhodes hologram Sammy Guevara beat the premier athletes of Daivari, Josh Woods, and Tony Nese. Austin Colton Gunn and Juice Robinson defeat the Dark Order trio that we like so much. I enjoyed that match. That was fun. And then
I don't know. Were you being sarcastic talking about the Dark Order trio?
No, I liked them. I liked that match. That was fun. It was a good time.
Just checking.
Yeah. Undisputed Kingdom defeat Action Andretti Top Flight and Shaylin Taylor Promotions. That was also a fun match. I like these 0 hour kind of kickoff shows. They just keep it simple. And then we get to the main show, which was very much wrestling for adults. That's how I describe the show. And I loved every second of this show. I thought it was phenomenal.
Um, yeah. That's a perfect description of it. I know there's been a lot of discourse coming out of this show, but
What is the
I
discourse
don't.
that you've heard coming out of this show?
Not a lot, honestly. I haven't been online a ton talking about wrestling. But excuse me. Um, Obviously there's the uh did they go too far discourse, I think is the biggest thing. And would you show this to your kids discourse? Now AW has always been rated TV 14, I believe, in the US.
Yeah, I believe that's right.
And I'm not a parent, but Jason and I have had the discussion before that we would never bring our kids to AEW. We spend a lot of time with my niece and nephew, who are now 7 and 10, and I'm still not showing them AEW at this point. I would love to share one of my interests with them, but I'm not starting with AEW. It is not for children.
I heard similar arguments growing up about. Obviously, I grew up in the South, WCW town kind of deal, and I was a WCW fan. It felt more realistic for adults, while WWF was for children. And the first show I ever went to was indeed a WWF show, liked all the wacky characters and everything. And I was, I think, 3 or 4 years old. And then shortly after that, we went to a WCW show, and there was people bleeding, there was swearing, and I just thought it was the coolest thing in the world. I was a kid, and I thought I was in grown-up world, right?
Well, yeah, that makes sense. That is a child's reaction. Like, I mean, kids pop when they hear the word damn or bitch, let alone see blood or hear the word fuck or shit, right? Like, that is like, yeah, that is the proper reaction from a child.
Yeah, and when it comes to the comparisons of like, would you take your kid to see AEW? It's like it's always up to you, right? Now, if I had a kid,
That's
or
true.
I do have nephews and nieces now, I'd take them to AEW. They're not going to know the difference anyways, and they're just going to pop at the bad word.
Sure.
So,
Yeah. I mean, everyone parents differently. Like,
yeah.
that's not a knock on people who do bring their kids to it. Um, I just, yeah, I don't know. It was never meant for kids though, so yeah, that's my. Anyway, great show, great fucking show. Let's dive in.
MJF defeats Daniel Garcia under 24 minutes. Has a 4.5 on the old Meltzer scale, 7.78 on Cage Match. Show overall has a 9.19. I think the 919 is very fair for this show. This is my show of the year, by the way.
Yeah. I can't fault you for that. I haven't evaluated my picks, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was mine as well.
I mean, the Sting retirement show, Revolution, was excellent. I like this more.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I just think top to bottom, everything delivered in its own way. So MJF defeats Daniel Garcia. Yeah. He cheated. Then Garcia gets his heat back by doing the pile driver off the top, bleeds him up, same way he left him. Interesting note, though, Daniel Garcia hasn't re-signed his contract yet. So...
Yeah, so I did hear that. So I thought it was weird at the time that Garcia lost, but then ended with the upper hand after the post-match beatdown.
Mm-hmm.
I did hear later that, excuse me, I'm so sorry. I did hear later that the match finish was changed, that DG was originally booked to go over, but they changed it because he had not re-signed, possibly.
Probably.
In any case, it was great wrestling, and these two young guys, I mean, I just want them on my TV for the next 20 years. I don't care. They're just phenomenal performers. MJF, every time he has a match, I think, even though we know by now, I think he still surprises people at how hard he can go and how talented he is in ring. But that's the whole point of MJF, right? He's supposed to, not wrestle and not show you how good he is. That's
right.
Part of it. This was just great stuff. I loved that match.
Yeah, I just like how, kayfabe or not, in the reasonings, it all made sense on the screen in the end, and that's what matters to me.
Mm-hmm.
Young Bucks defeat Claudio and Wheeler Yuta, 16 minutes, 6.97 on Cage Match. Old Wrestling Observer Newsletter gave it 4 stars. I'm not that high, but, I'm like at 3.5. at best kind of deal. I just thought it was a solid match,
Yeah.
and the Bucks need a lot more of these because this reign sucks.
Yeah, but it's supposed to suck.
No,
I don't know.
no, definitely not. Definitely not. Will Ospreay defeats
I
Pac
don't know.
20 minutes. This was amazing. And oddly
You don't
enough,
have to tell me how amazing.
oddly enough, it was like my third favorite match on the show.
I'm clutching my metaphorical non-existent pearls because Pac. Everybody knows how I feel about Pac. Oh, I lost my bad bitches for Pac shirt in the fire.
Question.
I know. Yeah.
Is this Pac's best match in AEW, or do you still think the Kenny Omega Iron Man match is better? It's a tough one, right? I was thinking about that a lot watching this. So it currently has a 9.28 on Cage Match, 5.5 in the Observer. I think that's a little high, but
I mean, it's Pac's first singles 5-star match, so I'm like, whatever.
Is it really?
It is. He has 3 or 4 trios,
All right,
5-star matches, tag and trios.
I'm looking this up.
Yeah.
Now. Oh, he's 38.
Do you not believe me? I am the Pac fan.
I'm looking it up.
What? You're Googling me. Oh my goodness.
Hold on. Doing it right now.
I cannot believe you don't believe me.
Did you say his first singles 5-star match? Or
in AEW at least?
Because he has.
I did say his first singles.
Okay. I definitely did not hear the singles part.
I said first singles 5-star match, and then I said he has. Then I followed up by saying he has tag and trios 5-star matches in AEW.
Yeah, I started looking and totally missed those. He has a fuck ton of like 4.5 plus star matches.
He sure does. He's my guy.
That's a lot
for a reason.
Yeah, he's at 30 plus in that regard.
Yeah. You don't miss.
A lot of them are tags. Ben K. Pac got 4.5
Don't
from
you?
Dragongate. I like that match. KZ Pac was 4 3/4. Yeah, it's very good. Pac Will Ospreay. Here we go. 2019 Rev Pro. I remember this match. This one was.
Yeah.
This one was definitely better than the Rev Pro match. That got 4 3/4 in 2019.
Yes. Yeah, this was better than the Rev Pro match. I don't know.
Oh, do I like it more than the KZ match in Dragon Gate from back then? I don't. Oh, they might be even.
I think. I mean, the other thing though too is like personal bias, right? Like the Iron Man match, I think is still going to be my favorite, but I think is better than this one. But my favorite is from All Out 2019 because I was there when Pac beat Kenny. And if you if you go back, so I'm on the floor facing the hard cam at All Out 2019 when Pac beats Kenny, and the entire crowd is like shocked and like their heads are down and they're like bummed, and I'm standing at the back with both arms in the air. And like you can't miss me. It's so funny if you go back and watch it. Or I there's a still out there. I'll find it. I'll send it to you.
Yeah, you got to do that for sure. Okay, not for the CMLL title. Willow Nightingale loses to Statlander in the street fight in 15 minutes. How high is this going to finish on women's match of the year lists?
I mean,
this was really good. Like, really good. This was super intense.
I mean, this match was really good. Best Western women's match of the year thus far, for sure.
Yeah, I can't think of anything.
Thoughts?
I mean, I really liked Athena Shida, but this was certainly better than that. And I was there live for the Athena Shida match.
Oh yeah. Oh, and I've heard some people say that the Ring of Honor street fight, the Diamante Layla Hirsch one,
No,
was
this was better than
slightly.
that one.
I haven't watched that one yet. I've only gone like halfway through that pay-per-view. So did you just see the photo I sent you?
Did you text it?
I sent it in Twitter.
In Twitter. Okay. Ah, there it is. The wrestler, the fan. Oh my god, you're the only one with your hands up.
Like, look at me.
That's funny.
Look at me and look at the rest of the crowd. I mean, people have their hands on their heads.
Yeah.
They can't believe Kenny Omega lost.
That's great.
And
You're the only one.
Triumphantly. Yeah, he's been my guy for a while.
So, one discourse came out of this match that I followed in real time.
Yeah.
And listened to a lot of various, we'll call them grifter podcasts, just to kind of lump them all together as one sum. Yeah. The split vagina tax spot had a lot of people.
That's what they're calling it?
Well, that's what I'm calling it. But like it sounded, every time I heard someone talk negative on this match, or how it went too far for women. I mean, it's always the same when women bleed or do anything violent, that all of a sudden it's the females just can't handle it, right? And it's always men talking about it, which amuses me because they sound like they're a fifth grader that just heard the word shit for the first time. I can't believe they did a spot that involved a vagina. Oh. And I'm like, I don't know. I just watched the Olympics and watched women fucking bury themselves on the balance beam.
Yeah. Also, I am a woman, and that was not what I thought of when I saw this spot. I was just like, oh, doing a split is hard. Getting my thigh stuck with thumbtacks is hard. Like, that did not even occur to me. Like, that is not even... Yeah.
Right, like a normal person.
I mean,
just goes, okay, cool spot, whatever. And then the people that probably actually have tampons up their ass are, oh my god, this is
up there. What?
Up their ass.
Sure. Okay. That's how tampons work, by the way.
That's what those people would do.
Yeah. Soaked in vodka.
Soaked in. Excellent match. Statlander wins. I can't wait for this feud to continue in some capacity. I want it to. I want them to always be against each other in some way for the remainder of time now.
Oh, I get that.
Yeah.
I get that. Oh, I do have one indie thing to talk about before we finish.
Oh.
Okay, sorry, I just thought of something.
Okay. Kazuchika Okada wins the thrown together 4-way 15-minute match. I don't know. I'm very baffled on what they're doing with Okada this year, where he's not in any like feuds. You just kind of throw him into things like this, and it doesn't make sense to me. It makes as much sense as the lack of Takeshita on television of a push of some kind ever since he beat Kenny Omega. I just don't understand it. Or Orange Cassidy after he lost the title to Moxley in that amazing match last year. They've done nothing. I might as well finish off the group here. Mark Briscoe's the ROH champion, and he's constantly on the losing front. None of these things make sense altogether.
Yeah.
This match was baffling to me. I couldn't get into it.
Okay.
7.25 on Cage Match, 4.25 stars.
Yeah, that's about right.
Yeah.
There were good spots. There were good spots, but now we do have an Okada Takeshita build finally.
Maybe.
Finally. So, no,
it's a
definitely.
tease.
They're definitely going that way. Yeah. AEW doesn't usually tease and then yank the rug out from under us.
I guess. Oh, the Statlander Willow match got 4 3/4 because it's a women's match by the Wrestling Observer, so it can't possibly get 5 stars. That would just never happen.
Yeah,
8.87 on Cage Match. Mercedes Moné defeats Hikaru Shida 16-32, 2 3/4 in the Observer, a measly 5-4-7 on the old Cage Match. So 2 3/4 is about right on all fronts. I went like 3 stars.
Well, this match had a lot going for it. It suffered from wardrobe malfunction. Monet just couldn't keep her wig on, and it ruined the entire match. I think she should have.
I think there's more to it than
everybody knows
that.
it's a wig. Just take it off and go about the match.
I should have just ripped it off. That probably would have created some extra drama, actually. She just whips that thing off and throws it at Shida.
Although there may be something that we don't know. I'm not a wig wearer, nor have I ever been one. I don't know if there's, something else going on.
In this instance, I'm assuming full head of hair. She just has the wig.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
There could be something else going on, but it was a detriment to the match.
Yeah, what's not working for me with Mercedes over this last, I'll put it 6 weeks, a lot of her segments are starting to repeat with a very WWE presentation to it, with the, everything's a title celebration, and I mean she cuts a decent little promo every now and again with her, but I'm expecting her to put on some way better matches. And between this and the Britt Baker match, they both suffered the same issue on the Mercedes end, where she has all these ideas, but whether they're too complicated or there's instances of having 2 left feet, not to mention the finisher doesn't work. She's got to get rid of the Moneymaker deal, the spinning gory bomb deal. It just doesn't set up or look very good. But when the match structures are laid out the way they are, whether it's Baker or Shida or, hell, even a decent match that I liked with the Willow Nightingale, things just aren't flowing and working for Mercedes. I think she has too much freedom to kind of structure out her matches right now, and there needs to be more reeled-in guidance, because things are just too complicated and they're not executing in her matches. No one really is. And that's a problem. And that's how we get kind of matches like this, where things just kind of fall apart, and then we get a wardrobe malfunction on top of it. Not to mention the finish and things just not hitting clean. It's a mess. And I'm beginning to really believe it's a lot of Mercedes and her. She's too ambitious for her own good right now.
It could be true. I thought her TV match with Shida was better than this one.
Yes, I agree.
Her TV match with Shida might have been her best match at AEW so far.
Ooh, interesting. Let's look at this.
Might have. I haven't given it a ton of thought. I'm not.
So I really like
I'm still recovering.
Yeah, I really like the Momo Watanabe match from New Japan Strong at Capital Collision. We didn't talk about that. That one was good.
That was my next question. Is Monet different in AW even than she is when she's doing the New Japan matches?
She is different in AW.
Yet. We couldn't find a download.
Yeah, she is different in AW.
So what is the difference?
I think when it comes to the wrestlers in Stardom, with how she was working, whether it was Hazuki and Azumi, Momo in this case, Mayu on the big show, the matches are more simple. It's all about hitting hard, hitting stiff, getting key moves to look like they hurt, while when she gets to AEW, she's trying too much too fast. You know what? The Vacker match, I think, was better. That's her best one.
The Vacker match.
Stephanie Vacker at Forbidden Door.
Yes.
That one was better.
Yes.
I think that's her best match.
Okay. So is the difference American wrestlers?
I think it's trying to change the style and too ambitious for it. She did very well against Stephanie Vacker, where it was mostly lucha libre and stiff working. She did better with Momo Watanabe because it was stiff working and kicking and that kind of thing. The simpler the matches, the better.
So, do we need the AEW roster to come up to her level? Does she need to lower her standard? What is the solution here?
I think it's the match structures that's being laid out for an American audience.
Structure.
Yeah, I think it's the structure itself. And I truly believe Mercedes has the carte blanche to call her shot in that case.
Fair enough.
The other thing is...
That very well could be, yeah.
I don't think Stephanie Vacker's English is very good, and Momo certainly probably doesn't have English, so I wonder if it's a thing of, well, I can't communicate with them, so we have to keep it simple. It's much harder to communicate. Maybe that's it.
Maybe. And maybe that's better if you just speak the universal language of wrestling.
Yeah. Bryan Danielson defeats Jack Perry, 28 minutes, 7-7-3 on cage match, 4 3/4 in the Observer. I think that's a little too high there. I was at like 3 3/4. I thought it was good.
I thought, yeah,
that was good. It's kind of it. What do you think of this Jack Perry kind of scapegoat thing at this point in time?
I think his bus needs to go to a shop because all it does is smoke when he parks it. He definitely needs to have something looked at. I'm not a mechanic, so I can't diagnose it. Something with the trans or the spark plug. I don't know. I'm just saying words now. Excuse me. No, I think this was great. I think the character finally has legs. If there was a CM Punk chant in this match, I think it was a fuck CM Punk chant in Chicago. There was Cry Me a River chants, but
I heard
that was
one.
it. I mean, that's incredible for a Chicago crowd watching Jack Perry do this to Bryan Danielson, who everybody loves.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought the match was really, really good. I don't know what Jack's been doing. We know Anna's been out in Japan and getting her reps in, and hopefully she comes back a little changed. I guess
she's
Jack
back
spent some
now.
time in Japan, not a lot.
She's back from the 5-star Grand Prix now. Yeah, for sure.
Right. Yeah. So Jack spent a little time in Japan, but not like a ton. He only had a handful of matches as far as I know. Although who knows what sort of like training dojos and whatever else he visited. But
well, he did New Japan.
This is I didn't take him seriously as a heel at first, and I'm still struggling a little bit, but the match quality is good and he's backing up his in-ring work is backing up the character work and vice versa. So I'm cool with it. I'm totally cool with it.
Yeah, I'm just kind of waiting for this heel Jack Perry to click with me a little more. Something's missing for me. I'm not sure what that is at this point. His busted black bus doesn't do much for me. Maybe if it had machine guns like out of Twisted Metal or something. That would be a different story.
I love the bus, and I love that he drives it himself from city to city. It's got to get there somehow, right?
Yeah,
maybe they put it up on a trailer, but
I like the Leo Rush match on Dynamite that followed.
So.
That was fun.
Oh yeah, that was very good. I'm glad there's more Leo in AEW too. He's great, man.
So after the match, we get the answer to the Jon Moxley Dynamite collision type vignettes and promos and whatnot, where he's very ominous.
It's
a place of change. This isn't your company anymore, or whatever fuck they were saying. And
Yeah.
the entire Blackpool Combat Club, except Yuta, attacked Danielson, particularly Moxie with the plastic bag. He's done this before, hasn't he? Or am I thinking of the Lance Archer mandible claw spot on Moxley with the plastic bag?
That is what you're thinking of.
Okay.
Yes.
Lance Archer should be part of this group now that I say it out loud.
Lance Archer should be a lot of things. But I like that they're giving, I mean, he's had a little more time lately too. I love Lance.
I thought this angle was so cool.
Sorry, I got distracted.
And so well done.
It was spectacular. It was really well done. You can see the instant that Moxley kind of gives the nod and Claudio does the uppercut. And you can see the instant that Pac goes from hugging Yuta to restraining him.
Mm-hmm.
Everything about this was so well done. The production side of it too. It was really great.
It elicits real emotion and reaction from people.
Yeah. The only thing I that I said to Jason, I was like, how do you like actually do this safely? How does this go on? And then I was like, what are we talking about? Bryan Danielson's resting heart rate is 42. He can probably hold his breath for 7 minutes.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, no, wonderful stuff. Wonderful stuff. I'm really looking forward to what happens next, considering the trio's belts are split between sides now. R.I.P. Crab Walk, Yuta and Claudio. I don't think we're ever going to see the crab walk again. And then my only other complaint about this angle, and it's not a complaint at all or a legitimate one, was just that when we first saw Moxley and Marina Shafir backstage, I was like, ooh, new faction. We need new people. Put Matt Mikowski in there. He's the best suited person for this faction.
Oh, he'd be an interesting kind of job guy for a group. Yeah.
I mean, we're not going to see it now.
No.
Because this is a Blackpool Combat Club. But that was where my brain went. I was like, okay, Anthony Henry, Matt Mikowski, Kevin Blackwood, get all those fucking strikers in there. Like when I thought it was like going to be like a blood sport thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I really like how Moxley has gone about this. The turn was well done. Now he's calling out Darby. He's going to face him at Grand Slam. It all makes sense. He took out Danielson. Now, this whole Nigel McGuinness thing really puts that story in a weird spot because Darby won, what did he win? He won some Battle Royal. And he was supposed to get the title shot against Danielson at Grand Slam, but then Nigel can come out and just say he has the match now instead?
This was very, very weird. I tried to course correct on Collision, this most recent Collision as we sit here recording. I think so. The course correction was that hang on. Neighbor dog. I don't know if you could hear that or not.
No.
Okay. Sorry. Hang on. I'm
okay.
Sorry, apartment living since the fire, and so there are more distractions.
It's all right. Don't worry about the dogs. It's okay. So I'll continue talking. Whatever course correction they do at this point, I think is irrelevant because the way they went about this didn't make sense at all anyways. It should just be Darby versus Danielson at Grand Slam, or you just don't have Danielson wrestle at all, and therefore Darby is busy and Nigel is waiting with a contract. But if we throw story logic out and just think, hey, cool wrestling matches, then Nigel Danielson, that's awesome. It's in New York. I'd want to go to that immediately.
Yeah. And that's the end thing though, right? Is like, it is just cool matches. So who cares?
but you want things to
I
make
would,
sense.
as a viewer, prefer some logic. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the lights out steel cage match. Adam Page is committing arson and burning down childhood homes. I'm sure this hit home for you, Ricky, in the wrong ways.
Shut up. Shut up. Shut up.
Have you asked Hangman Page if he had fireworks that night? So, bad jokes, poor taste.
No, he didn't burn down my house.
You don't know. You're a big Swerve fan.
That's true.
Yeah. See where I'm going?
But Hangman is Jason's favorite, so.
Yeah, but anyways.
Yeah, but what? Do you think Hangman Page burned down my house?
Look, I'm just going by what he said in the promo on Dynamite. Anyone who is like pro Swerve and got in his way, be careful. And you're a big Swerve fan, and I'm a big Swerve fan, so I gotta be careful at my house too.
I even complimented Will Washington on the match following the pay-per-view. So
Adam Page is drinking whiskey in front of a burning house. The match is on. It's a steel cage, and we got lights out. 4.5 stars in the Observer, 9.09. So at least they like match each other, but 31 minutes, 22 seconds. Mr. Adam Page beats Swerve Strickland in the unsanctioned match. I thought the commentary put this
cost?
over. Yeah, but at what cost?
At what cost?
Magnum TA, Mr. Page. I'm kind of. I guess I'm not surprised. Mr. Meltzer didn't give a 5 stars to this. He's not into men doing hardcore matches, but a woman's hardcore match he's really into, weirdly enough, but he'll never give 5 stars to that either. Separate topics, but look, cinder blocks, needles. Clearly these needles were filled with heroin, and that made people uncomfortable. Cinder blocks are absolutely real, and people's heads are being broken on it. And steel chairs are not gimmicked. They are completely real. And this match got real reactions from everybody, and the worst people are having discourse about it. Look.
Yeah.
I thought this match kicked fucking ass. I'm not sure where it's going to place on any sort of match of the year list. It's certainly... Ooh. It might actually... Believe it or not, and how much I enjoyed this match, it might still fall out of my top 10 AEW matches of the year. But...
What?
Yeah, I'm really going to have to look at the old Excel sheets, which I haven't been keeping updated very well this year, or from the summer, but... Am I crazy saying this is the weakest match, but still excellent between Page and Swerve?
No, that's exactly right. Maybe not the weakest. I do think the previous, whatever it was, street fight or whatever, where they drank each other's blood.
I mean, yeah, that was incredible. All right, let's see here. Let's look at their...
That would have been really hard to beat. This was still excellent.
So they had the 30-minute draw in February. I think the draw was better, but that was also pure wrestling standpoint. Texas Deathmatch is still number 1. They had the match at Wrestle Dream. This is better than the Wrestle Dream match, I think.
I don't remember which one that was. I don't remember what happened yesterday. I don't remember what happened 2 months ago. Time means nothing to me. Anyway.
That match was almost a year ago, by the way. The Wrestle Dream Swerve Page match. That was their first singles encounter.
That's true. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's been going on a while.
Yeah. So they've had now 4 total singles matches against each other, plus the 3-way in March and the Blood and Guts encounter.
Cool.
Yeah. Hell of a rivalry. I adored this. I look forward to more. What do you think's next for Swerve?
Chemistry is just off the charts. Well, what's next for either of them?
Well, Page is going to kick some ass,
that's a
and now
great
he's going to feud
question.
with Jeff Jarrett. So we know that.
Oh, true. Well, I don't know how much of a feud that's going to be.
I think Swerve's up in the air for the time
I
being.
don't know. Yeah, I don't know. He wants the belt back at some point for sure. I don't know. I don't know. Haven't speculated even a little. Don't know.
Okay.
Looking forward to it.
Is that enough AEW talk?
Yeah, do we have to talk about the PWA 500?
Oh, right. Well, okay. PWI 500. That did come out. I honestly don't have a whole hell of a lot of thoughts this year over it. I usually do. The last few years, I've done a Patreon episode over it, really breaking it down. I've had guests in the past. But this year, I'm not very, it's not very controversial to me this year. With Cody Rhodes 1, Swerve 2, Ospreay 3, Seth freaking Rollins at 4, Naito 5, Damian Priest 6, MJF 7, John Moxley 8, Gunther Walter at 9, and Mystico 10. And then it kind of goes down the line of who had titles and title matches and main events in some capacity. Let's see here. And I'm kind of looking, we'll call it down ballot. I think Yuma Anzai at 41 is really low. I think that would be the more snub to me. And then Joe Hendry at 51 is absurd. Takeshita at 67. I don't know, but yeah.
Yeah. I don't know either. I just
Yamato at 91.
Make
yeah,
sure
these
people
things.
people didn't think we were forgetting about it.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of my NXT thoughts remain. I think NXT and TNA are very much rated way too high all the time. The indies are rated too high. I think there should be some promotional upward trajectory there, but not too much. If that makes sense. Yeah, Moose at 15. I don't know about that one.
Oh.
Yeah. Alex Kane for MLW at 25. Yeah, it's
okay.
Yeah, I'm kind of shrugging my shoulders on this year. I don't really have much breakdown other than it's kind of what it's the names I expected to be on there, just in a pure kayfabe point and kind of nothing else.
Sure. Yeah.
Which is kind of what it should be, really. And it hasn't been in it hasn't felt like that in recent years. So kind of good on them for more or less getting it right this year. Obviously, I'd move some names around, but I would say kind of the top 10 is... Yeah. It's really funny to me Damian Priest got number 6, though. I think that's a little...
Yeah, I don't know anything about what he's been doing, so I don't...
Well, he had their fake world title in WWE for a little while, but he wasn't very...
Was it like an interim, or...
No, it's... So, Roman Reigns had the two combined, right? And then they made a third title on top of that, so...
Oh, right.
Yeah. I'm way more interested in the women's PWI than anything, but that should be kind of obvious for me.
Sure.
Yeah. I'm really wondering where Micah is going to land on PWI, especially with the Stardom split. I'm wondering where Utami is going to land. If Rhea Ripley gets number 1 again, that'll be egregious. Bianca Belair should actually be pretty low this year. Charlotte shouldn't make the list at all.
Right.
Becky Lynch should be pretty far. Mercedes, that's going to be tough. She's only had a handful of matches, but she's held a title, multiple titles, the whole time. Tony Storm should be pretty high. Tony Storm should be pretty high, I imagine. Not number 1 high. Liv Morgan, I expect to probably make the top 10, just because WWE, even though I wouldn't agree with that. Got me thinking. We got to talk about WCW, and we can fucking talk about this triple cage all we want, but here we go. Slamboree 2000, May 7th, from the Kemper Arena in Kansas City, Missouri. 7,100 people for this abysmal pay-per-view. Better than Spring Stampede, Ricky? Would you agree? That was the previous one we watched with the Jeff Jarrett, Diamond Dallas Page tournament title match.
I don't know. I watched this 3 months ago.
No, you rewatched it like a champ. I know you did. You love this show.
I didn't. Nope. I literally think I watched this on July 4th.
Oh, man. 5.23 on Cage Match. Someone jokingly gave this the 10 on Cage Match.
Yeah, of course they did. I'm going to my Google Doc version history. I watched it on June 29th.
Oh.
So, okay, it wasn't the day my house burned down. But that was a long time ago.
I rewatched the Triple Cage for the entertainment, and then I read up on my notes, and then another review. But let's... So, New Blood Millionaires Club is where we're at, and they did some wacky thing on Thunder before the pay-per-view where Ric Flair won a wacky battle royal with the return of Randy Savage, and Ric Flair gets a title shot. Not on this show, though, because it's the steel cage. I guess that's at Great American Bash, which is the next pay-per-view.
Okay.
So we're looking forward to a Ric Flair main event.
Whatever.
Sure, yeah. Okay.
Whatever, man.
Yeah, whatever. Our first match was Chris Candido defeating The Artist with Tammy and Paisley ringside. 8 minutes. It has a 3.43 on Cage Match. This was bad because Candido, after like interference or some shit with Tammy, rolls up, not Prince. It's a 2 count, and then they ring the bell anyways, and everyone's confused. And then Candido has to do all of his ending moves to finish the match. Then, of course, there's like a brouhaha, and Tammy's clothes come off because it's Vince Russo booking this stuff.
Yeah. I don't know when I started taking notes for this. My first note on this pay-per-view says, I forgot to take notes from the beginning, but I know at some point the gross commentary guy said he was distracted because he was looking at someone's Hooters.
That would be Mark Madden.
And I wouldn't have written... Yeah, that guy. I wouldn't have written the word Hooters unless he had explicitly said the word Hooters. So, yeah, gross. Just gross.
So we follow that. We follow that not 5-star match with Terry Funk and Norman Smiley in a hardcore title match, where Ralphus.
Yeah, that was stupid.
Yes, so Terry Funk looks for him in the bathroom, Norman Smiley, in which Norman Smiley is dressed up in Kansas City Royals baseball gear, but Ralphus is in a catcher's outfit, hiding his identity until the ring, and oh my god, it was awful. You see his crack, he's slow, he can't do anything. Makes you think you were smoking crack watching this. It's a lot of comedy, hitting with shit, and Terry Funk wins anyways. Who cares?
Yeah.
Let's see. David Arquette arrives at the building. He says he's scared or whatever the fuck. And then we follow that up with Sean Stasiak, Kurt Hennig where Sean Stasiak is being the Mr. Perfect clone. He just wins a very okay 7-minute match. Nothing else to say here, right?
Yep.
I think this was like the best match on the show. Let's see here. No, it's like the third best.
No, I thought
third best match.
Yeah. I know what I thought was the best, but
so out comes Hugh Morris in camo gear. He says he's the leader of the Misfits in action, but everyone got fired by Vince Russo, even though they're all at ringside watching on. He says he is no longer Hugh Morris. That was an Eric Bischoff name. He's going to go by his real name, Ricky.
Okay.
The moment has come.
Which is what?
Huge Erection, or Captain Rection for short.
No.
Yeah, Huge Erection.
No.
Yep. And then Scott Steiner beat the shit out of him and won a match. Did you get all that?
Oh.
I don't know why this match went on for 9 minutes.
Wait, which was that one? Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Scott Steiner had a boring match against Huge Erection.
Yeah.
We went from talking about All Out, where every match was like 4.5 stars, to this abomination.
Yeah.
Chris Kanyon gets interviewed in the back.
Okay. So, yeah. Then what happened?
Well, Chris Kanyon is going to side with DDP, even though he's not in the Millionaires Club. Keep that in mind. Okay.
Okay, remember that.
Mike Awesome versus Chris Kanyon. Was this the best match on the show?
Yes.
Like, without question.
My notes say, 100%. My notes say that the match isn't terrible, so that means it's the best match on the card.
Oh my God. Was this better than Mercedes Moné against Shida?
No.
Oh, okay.
But my notes say this match isn't terrible, except they tried to put over Mike Awesome's agility after he did a terrible tope.
Correct.
And then they said that Kevin Nash has the best power bomb in the biz. In 2000, was that true?
No. Sid Vicious had the best power bomb.
Okay. Just checking. Okay. Just checking.
Well, no, it wasn't Sid, because Sid was... Who had the best power bomb? Oh, Vader. Vader had the best power bomb. He was in All Japan, kicking ass and shit. All right. Well, Mike Awesome's awesome bomb was pretty gnarly. He was going to throw Chris Kanyon over the rope onto concrete, but then Kevin Nash kind of interfered and did some shit. Not the first time we'd see Kevin Nash on the show. Yep. We get Vince Russo in the back threatening Elizabeth, just like on Nitro. He says some things. And then we get Buff Bagwell against the Total Package with his new haircut. Yes. I know you're excited.
Yeah. I have no recollection of this.
So basically, Russo and Liz are arguing. Liz pushes him out of the chair, gets a bat, goes to the ring, and helps Lex Luger win a match with a bat. That's about it. But in the post-match, we get Chuck Palumbo coming out, and he attacks Luger and puts him in the rack. So as Stasiak is doing the Mr. Perfect knockoff, they're having Chuck Palumbo do the Lex Luger knockoff. So again, we have more gimmicks where Vince Russo really wants to be WWF really bad. And just copy and paste shit.
Yeah.
Gene interviews Shane Douglas, and that leads into Ric Flair versus Shane Douglas.
Gross.
This was pretty egregious, especially at the end. This was really bad. And I really attribute it a lot to the...
What I did write was... here are some notes. I wrote, Shivani hates his job right now,
Mm-hmm.
and he constantly has to check himself to make sure he doesn't cross a line that pisses off Bischoff or Russo.
Well,
um,
yeah.
and then I said, why is Ric Flair wrestling in dress shoes?
Because he can't be bothered to put on anything wrestling gear-wise because it's simply not worth it. And I can't blame the guy.
That's fair. And then I wrote that David Flair actually swerved me.
Yeah, he was dressed up as fake Sting during the interference
Let's
and
talk
everything.
about. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and also Tony Schiavone said baseball bat for the first time ever. He normally just says ball bat. He's got him with the ball bat.
Oh.
He still says that on AEW to this day with Sting and Jericho. Ball bat.
Oh, you might be
But he
right.
actually said baseball bat.
You might be onto something. Sting versus Vampiro. Very strange that we got like a graveyard match and then like a street fight followed by this just singles match on pay-per-view. They just had a match.
Yeah.
That was it. No, they had the first blood match. That's what it was. It was a first blood match. That was on TV. And then all the blood. Anyways, this was nothing. So now we get a slew of interviews. DDP, David Arquette, Mike Tenay's back there asking about the triple cage. Then we get Kidman with Tori, and then there's Bischoff and Kimberly. They're talking some shit. Russo's backstage, and that goes into Hogan versus Kidman. Part, 6 at this point of Hogan beating the shit out of Billy Kidman mercilessly. And then we end, and the problem is Bischoff's the referee. They do the whole referee's not going to count. It's all stupid. Speaking of which, the Thunder recap. Do you remember the Thunder recap from before the pay-per-view started?
No, I don't remember anything from this pay-per-view.
I'll remind you.
Sorry.
I'll remind you. No, I understand, because why would you want to remember any of this? So on Thunder, minus the Battle Royal, they had a Millionaire's New Blood theme where they're all against each other, but there was no referees. So if you wanted to win the match, you had to count your own pinfall. Is that the dumbest thing you've ever heard?
I was just going to say that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
That's what this match reminded me of why even have the match if Bischoff's just not going to count. Right? And sure as shit, Hogan just punches him, and then a bunch of people interfere. They beat up Hogan, and then Hogan makes a comeback. Horace comes out and counts Bischoff hand for him, and the match is over. This was stupid. What does Cage Match have this at? 2.47. Is this the worst match on the show? It was! 13 and a half minutes this went. Good God. Oof. Mean Gene interviews Jeff Jarrett. So we have Jeff Jarrett, DDP, David Arquette, Triple Cage. So the first cage is the singles match section. You have to escape it, go up to the second cage, which is hardcore plunder galore. And then the third tier is Guitar Center. Feels like it should have been flipped, but whatever. It's basically a big walk-in brawl with a bunch of people kind of here and there and coming out. Tank Abbott was like involved in the storyline leading up this for whatever reason. I was mildly entertained through all this, actually.
I was too.
Yeah, I didn't
I was
like.
really excited for this match.
I expected to hate this, and I'm like, this isn't that bad. It's just David Arquette is just there. It's just Jeff Jarrett and DDP in a triple cage match.
Right. Yes. It was fun.
Yeah. The Mike Awesome interference was, I think, unwarranted. I don't think that was necessary, especially with the swerve at the end, because everything has to have a swerve in Vince Russo's wrestling. What'd you think of the swerve?
I don't remember.
So
I have no notes.
DDP and Jarrett are at the guitar room. They swing and destroy guitars against each other. Arquette is on the top. He could grab the title, but DDP was like, don't grab the title. You're not a champion. You're not a wrestler. Don't do that. And Arquette, throughout this storyline and everything, is like, you know what? You're right. I'm not a wrestler. I don't deserve this belt. Real people do. And all for...
And he said he didn't want it. Yeah.
Right. All for Arquette to hit DDP with a guitar and let Jarrett climb and grab it. You know, it's not like I didn't expect it, because it is Vince Russo booking, but it's kind of stupid. It makes no sense.
I mean, what did you expect?
Well, Jeff Jarrett's champion in the year 2000. Hooray.
Yeah, the fact that he's a babyface, a believable baby and sympathetic babyface in 2024 is wild. Let me just tell you.
And people like him. It's because Hangman Page is like beating the shit out of him, and he's like kind of putting guys over right now. And it's amazing how that works. Yeah. You know what? And this is why I call Nanai Takahashi and Joshi the Joshi Jeff Jarrett, because she's on a roll in the new promotion Marigold, because she's just going out there, wrestling, doing her thing, and putting people over.
Yeah.
It's amazing how that works.
That's what you do. I have one more note from this show, and you'll have to put it into context, because I don't remember what the context of it is.
Okay.
My last note from this show is, how is Kevin Nash walking around right now? He was just fucking murdered. So can you put that into context for me?
How is Kevin Nash walking around
with Kevin Nash?
What? Say one more time.
Was he in the mat? I wrote, how is Kevin Nash walking around right now? Right now, he was just fucking murdered. He wasn't in the match, though, right?
No, I mean, there's Hummers and shit, and he got like run over, so he's hobbling. But he interfered in like 3 matches. Wasn't actually wrestling in any of them, but he was there. Yeah. They keep going back to the Hummer, and that was an angle from like 6 months ago or some shit. Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah, weird. So that's it. We've done it. We're back. WCW. It's back.
Ugh.
So now we got the...
Oh, I have one indie thing to mention.
Yes, what is your indie thing?
I have one indie thing. Okay, have you ever watched Evil Uno's Mystery Wrestling?
I have never watched it, no.
It's hilarious. I don't know what to equate it to. It's mostly comedy. There's usually 1 or 2 matches that are like quality wrestling. I mean, everyone's super talented that's involved. Like, I'm not trying to knock anyone, but it's mostly just for fun. Evil Uno is always on commentary. Then he usually has a guest commentator. And the most recent show had RJ City on commentary.
Okay.
Who I love and is just so creative. Also, the only real, because it's mystery wrestling, you never know who's going to face who. They don't advertise the card in advance. So the only through storyline from show to show involves the refs.
Okay.
And so the show actually opened with a match between the referees. It was really funny. But anyway, the main event of mystery wrestling was Cecil Nix versus London Lightning. Both local guys. Cecil Nix has been in the business a long time. London Lightning is an up-and-comer from Canada who we've seen him on a couple AEW shows. And he bears a resemblance to a young RJ City.
Okay.
So early in the match, RJ was like, fuck this guy. I've seen guys like this my whole career. Like all this like silly stuff. Then they lay out the stipulation for the match. The stipulation for the match was that it was a death match. But in order to win, someone actually had to die. Like someone had to murder someone.
Mm-hmm.
Halfway through the match, not even halfway through the match, RJ leaves commentary. And the match goes on, and they like legit try to kill each other. There's like a sword fight in the match at some point. It's really silly, but really fun. And at some point, someone stumbles through the curtain, and it's an older looking person in London Lightning's gear. It's RJ City as London Lightning from the future.
Oh, God.
And he warns him that he can't kill Cecil Nix because if he wins this match and if he kills Cecil Nix, all these horrible things will happen. And Kane is president, and I don't remember what else. It's the silliest fucking thing. And it was the best wrestling story I've ever seen. And I'm not doing it justice because I'm sick and I'm a bad storyteller. But it popped me. And it ended with RJ drinking poison. So future London Lightning died, therefore the match could end. Why do you hate fun, JT? This was the most fun. You would have loved it if you were watching it. It sounds silly.
If I was watching with you, I'd have a good laugh. Yes.
But it was seriously the best thing that I've seen.
Reminds me of
it was just so fun.
Reminds me of a WXW match from years and years ago where it was, where they have like machine guns and they're cutting like vegetables in the middle of the match, and that's what it reminds me of, and that was funny as hell.
It was hilarious. There are always really funny matches like that on Mystery Wrestling. Their star in my eyes is this guy named Psycho Mike.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you've ever seen him wrestle. He's amazing. Mostly character work, but really good in ring. Anyway, it's live and free on Twitch. Just subscribe to Evil Uno's Twitch channel and be notified when I think the next show is sometime in October 27th. They are available for replay, but you have to subscribe to the Patreon, so you might as well just watch them when they're live and they're free. I can't recommend them enough. It is the most fun. Outside of Lucha Libre and Laughs, it's the most fun I ever have watching wrestling. So I definitely recommend it, giving it a shot.
Alrighty. So that does it for us today. Ricky, it was fun.
Bye.